In the past, schools have been physical buildings with a teacher-centered approach that didn't account for individual preferences and focused mainly on information transfer. As time progressed and research expanded, changes were made, including the use of technology to supplement lessons and student-centered activities to increase students' personal responsibility. Now, as we charge into the 21st century, it is becoming apparent that to maintain our competitiveness and competency, we must alter our vision of learning and the environment it exists in. In today's presentation, we are going to explore what is on the horizon, the future of brick-and-mortar schools, the role of teachers, and the learning environments that students will be exposed to. WeEvolve has found that learning needs to happen outside the classroom and throughout our lives in every age, every situation, and every context. It must be holistic and lifelong, rooted in all aspects of life and work. This is already happening informally, according to Davidson and Goldberg, with students using the internet to learn everything from creating customized Pokemon, editing Wikipedia, choosing a movie, deciding what car to buy, and most every other decision they have to make. Since students have already started to turn to these new resources to learn, Davidson and Goldberg implore that schools must make rapid fundamental changes. Once these fundamental changes take place, virtual environments will be available and learning will be supported by various tools to allow learning within school, outside of school, and within real-life context. There will be no physical and virtual boundaries. A recent survey of experts shows that 85% of participants believe schools will allow students to personalize their course routes by 2025. In order to meet this expectation for personalized learning, these virtual and physical environments will provide a new learning grid from which learners can choose in constructing combinations of experiences that meet their needs. Since student-centered learning helps students become actively engaged and develop problem-solving skills, individualized student-centered plans will be developed by students to achieve their personal desired outcomes. But since the aim of learner-centered education is to enable learners to get along without their teachers, the role of teachers in future learning environments must also change. Davidson and Goldberg state that educational institutes often oppose change as it has been what has worked in the past. This is further supported by Puny and Cabrera, who write that teachers may have difficulties adjusting to change in how they deliver a course. Davidson and Goldberg also touch on the subject of current rules not being sufficient to direct students' conduct in their virtual life, nor are there protocols in place to address online behavioral issues. Future models of learning environments are being proposed. One model being anticipated is personal learning environments, with students controlling their digital spaces using widgets, bookmarks, and feed readers to establish a model of learning that is informal and lifelong. Hypermedia systems are also being publicized as a way of enhancing learning by identifying students' personal characteristics and adjusting the subject matter to meet their individual needs. This adaptive learning environment will shift its presentation to account for individual learning styles, while also adjusting the difficulty of tasks based on students' current achievement levels. The role of the teacher in the virtual learning environments will also change. In a survey on future education, 71% of respondents believe that teachers will be guides, mentors, friends, and partners in self-regulated, personalized, and collaborative learning processes. But it was also noted by experts that teachers will still play a vital role in learning and will not be replaced by technology. According to Puny and Cabrera, learners of the future will have learning spaces that consist of highly connected space where learners can store information for easy access and trust that the information and knowledge stored there is safe. These spaces also would allow for flexibility in learning so that a learner could access from anywhere and not be at a disadvantage. Most importantly, the space would be certified, and all learning that takes place will be recognized by an accreditation system. These spaces will be customized to the individual learner, but still allow for much interaction between peers, teachers, and other learners. These views of future learning fit well with the Canadian Council on Learning's State of Learning report, which states learning must be lifelong, learner-centered, and have limitless dimensions. With 95% of Canadians already participating in some form of informal learning, both at home and at work, greater recognition must be attached to it. In the future, schools will no longer be the traditional spaces that students are familiar with. Libraries will be digital study spaces meant for collaboration. Students will be immersed in a combination of digital and physical environments where they will be exposed to play learning, and even teachers will have a virtual classroom to practice in before starting work in a school. Schools that don't adapt to these trends will be lost as students choose other virtual classes to attend and learn. As you can see from this presentation, we are on the edge of what may be the largest reform in our educational system. Schools of today must be eager and willing to adapt if they wish to become schools of tomorrow.